All right, so as I was just mentioning, this idea that the number pi, right, or the value for pi is somehow a magic number confused me, and it wasn't until I was 55 years old and sitting somewhere trying to prep for this class for you guys that I finally came to an understanding of how pi, the number pi, is defined. Okay, so let's start by drawing a circle, just a simple old circle, right, in Rhino. And I want the circle to be 1 unit in radius. So 1 unit in radius. So just draw the circle and zoom in on it. And then what I want you to do is I want you to draw a line from the center of the circle to the quadrant of the circle. So here we go. I'm going to draw a line. And it's going to go from the center to the quadrant, just like that. Okay? So there's nothing magical about that. That's going from the origin point of the circle out, and the distance, we'll check it. Let's everybody check the distance. Dist, right? So I'm going to select that. I'm going to click there and click there, and the distance is 1. Now it says 1 foot, but it doesn't matter. It's 1 unit. Okay? Think of it as 1 unit. Okay. So I started out by not understanding in trig what is a radian. And to me, a radian seemed confusing, right? But a radian is directly related to a radius. Okay? So a radian in angle measure is the same length along the edge of the circle as the distance to the radius. So how far is it from there to there? It's 1. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to draw an arc that has a length of 1 and a radius of 1. So let's go up to curve and arc and see what we have there. So we have center, start, and angle, right? Start, end direction, start, end point, start, end radius. Doesn't seem that we have the ability to draw an arc, right, that is a certain distance long, right? At least I'm not finding one in there. So what we have to do is figure out how do we draw an arc, right, that has a distance of 1. So center start angle won't work, center end direction won't work, start end point won't work, start end radius won't work, start end point won't work. So that's not going to work. So let me pause this. All right, so I got to thank Xinyu because he found the variable for arc in the Rhino command. So let's take a look at that. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to go curve, arc, start, center start angle. So the center point is the middle of the end of that line or the center of the circle, right? The radius is 1, so that's the start point. And now up here, you have to tell it that you want to type in the length. So if we type in that, it says, okay, what's the length of the arc? And you'll notice that the direction is going to be clockwise, which is what we want it to do, is this way. Okay, so the radius is what?
1.
So we want the length of the arc to be what? 1. Very good. So 1. So I'm going to change that. It's right here. I'm going to change it to a different color. Let's try... How about yellow? No, not yellow. How about red? It's not showing up. I'm going to click the curve and I'm just going to delete the curve. Okay? All right. So there is an arc that is 1 in length, and there is a radius that is 1 in length. Okay? So that distance along the perimeter of the circle is 1 radian. All right? So let's try this. Let's take this and let's copy it on top of itself and then rotate it. All right? So copy that thing right there. Right? From this point, I'm going to take it 0 feet that direction. And let's see if it made a copy. If not, I'll put it there and put another one and then pile them up on top of each other. So there's only one there, so I've got 3 of them, right? So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to move it back on top of itself, right? And then let me see, did I get 2 there? Yes, I got 2. I need 1 more. So move. All right. So I should have 3 of those right on top of each other, right? So let's see. Click, and there's 1, 2, 3. All right. So all I want to do now is I want to rotate one from the start point to the end point of the other. So here we go. So rotate, transform, rotate, pick one of these, press enter. Center of rotation is the center of the circle. The start point is the end of here, and then we're going to rotate it around to here. Okay, so now I have 2 radians. So actually, if I was smart, let me undo that. Right? So I'm going to copy the line on top of itself also. So I'll redo. And I'm going to draw the lines there. So line. So, oops. Line from there to the end point. And then line from there to the end point. Okay, so there is 2 radians. That is 2 arc lengths that are the same as the radius, right? So I got 1 more to do. So let's try rotate again. Rotate. Click on the last one. Select one of the curves. Go to the center. Go to the start point. And then take it to the end point. Okay? And so once again, if I draw a line, there we have, right, 3 radians. So we have 3 arc lengths that are the same as the distance from the center to the edge of the arc. There's a strong relationship there, right? Because if this circle was 2, right, each of those arcs would also be 2. I'm using 1 because it's a simple factor. So why is it not closing on itself? What's going on? Well, the way that you're going to get to the bottom of that is going to be to draw a half circle, right, and then trim off the rest of it and see what the length of that is. Now, I was stupid enough to do this in feet rather than in inches or meters. So what I'm going to have to do is go to Tools for a moment, Options, and under Units, I'm going to have to tell it I want decimal feet. So it's already set to decimal, so that's good. It's not reading feet and inches. Okay? So I'm going to cancel that, so I'm good to go. So here we go. I'm going to draw a circle or an arc. And the arc is going to start here, or center's there, it's going to start there, and it's going to go to there. Okay? So how long is that? 0.14. That's right. If I trim that line and I do a distance on that, right, so that's all that's left there is that little piece. Okay? So if I now just say what's the distance of that, so there it is, 0.14. Okay? So the number of pi comes from the radius plus 0.14 more. So that's where, so if you're trying to get the circumference of a circle, you go 2 pi r. Okay? So at any rate, you need to know this basic information, right, in order to be able to translate between radians and degrees in your mind or with a calculator. Okay? All right, so I'm going to stop that. That was kind of long.